Hello, I'm Chris Williams. Today our review will be Symbiote Spider-Man Issue 2. The cover is, well, good. I'm really enjoying the cover. The cover was made by Greg Land and Frank Diamata. It shows a sort of demonic-looking black Spider-Man harassing Mysterio, who is either running away or is trying to scare someone. They both look pretty badass here, and I'm really liking it. I've said liking it before. The only part I could really say I dislike are maybe Spider-Man's elongated fingers. They don't. It's not. I know they're not supposed to look right, but they look a little off, and I wish the artist had done a bit better job on them. But otherwise, it looks really great. Great. I'm really enjoying this series, and the art by Greg Land in the interior is really good as well. Here we see Spider-Man foiling a crime by the human fly. Well, we'll learn more about. Well, we won't really learn about it. I cut that part out because it's just filler, I think, for in this issue. Apparently, the human fly had stolen the painting, the Screamer. You know that painting where it's that yellow guy who's screaming on a bridge? I gotta tell you, it's a nice little distraction, but that's all it really is for this issue. Later on, we meet this guy who will become an accomplice to Mysterio. The man is an actor on a movie set, and he got this job to be played as playing a thug in a movie. He ends up getting a little too rough with the main actor and breaking his nose. We see him, for some odd reason, saying, come on, get up, you wimp." And the actor he was basically punching says, "Stop it." The director is angry at the guy for breaking his actor's nose. He says that he's fired because his actor will be out for weeks until his face is repaired, that he doesn't want him on his set. The guy is angry and says it was a near miss. I nearly missed it. I can't help it that I hit him. He has a point. People do get punched on movie sets, apparently, when they're doing fight scenes. Well, the director doesn't take any of it and just fires him anyway. The guy storms off back to his own trailer, where he's greeted by Mysterio. Mysterio informs him that he's a mutant because he's far stronger and far harder to hurt than any normal human. Mysterio offers him money if he will help him on his plan to take down Spider-Man and acquire Spider-Man's alien costume. At first, the guy doesn't really know or what to do with Mysterio. He ends up making a joke. He calls him like Rey Mysterio. Apparently, the Mexican wrestlers, Rey Mysterio and his son. Mysterio declines that he's anything like a wrestler, while the guy says, "You look like a wrestler with that outfit on." But Mysterio just goes on and just offers him the money. Mysterio announces that I am an archenemy of Spider-Man. Witness a small sampling of my power. The guy he's trying to hire doesn't really care about this. He knows special effects when he sees them. He says they're good practical effects, but he's seen other effects like this at the theater at the movie studio where he works. Mysterio, of course, doesn't let that stop him. He keeps offering him a way to get money because he's been fired from his job. But of course, the guy's interested because he doesn't want to end up living on the street. So he takes it. But Mysterio says, "Now earn it. You have to help me take down Spider-Man." And the guy, of course, agrees to this. And we have Spider-Man soon to be attacked by this guy and Mysterio. Mysterio gives him a name, but I'll leave that up for a little while later. He, of course, says he wants the costume. And here we have really good artwork by Greg Land. This is good artwork. Peter David's writing is, well, spot on, and I really like this series. Mysterio announces that he can do anything to Spider-Man Man, and if you want to spare him, that's fine. Well, probably not. He doesn't say spare. He wants Spider-Man dead, but it looks like he'll kill him to get that costume. Here we see Spider-Man swinging across New York, thinking about Mysterio and about how his life, and how about he's bored and that he wishes something that happens, which seems a bit off. Usually Spider-Man is the last one who would want to see any action, because usually he tries to avoid anything. And of course, Peter Parker loves being Spider-Man, but I've always thought he doesn't really go out looking for dangerous things to happen. He just usually just involves himself in them because he doesn't want to see innocent people harmed or see criminals get away. When he's suddenly swinging along, he sees something. He sees Mysterio. He, of course, tries to swing down to apologize to Mysterio, even though Mysterio tried to blow him up. Peter, Mysterio is a criminal. Even though you try to avoid danger sometimes and are not involving yourself in unnecessary things unless people are going to be hurt, he is still a criminal. Of course, that's not really Mysterio. It's one of his holograms. Mysterio is off in another place who's watching Spider-Man swing down to him on a bunch of monitors. Now, where Mysterio actually is that he's actually in the Kingpin's hideout, and he's using the Kingpin's security monitor system. That he has all these cameras all over the city to track Spider-Man and different heroes. To watch Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes down and then suddenly is punched in the face because it's actually the guy Mysterio just hired. He calls himself Hard Rock. At first, the guy doesn't really like that name, but he apparently warms up to it because he's going to get paid. Hard Rock is a very strong guy. He might be on the class. I doubt he's as strong as Colossus, and I know he's nowhere stronger than the Hulk. But he's apparently way tougher than Spider-Man. Spider-Man is uncharacteristically maybe a bit more violent here, or rather a bit more arrogant. He thinks he can easily take him, but he ends up busting his hand. It's probably not broken, but Spider-Man is certainly in a bunch of pain, while Hard Rock continues to pummel Spider-Man down into the ground. Spider-Man can't believe he's being beaten by this no-name loser. And here we again see something that seems to be off about Spider-Man. Usually he doesn't say things like no-name loser. If he sees someone attacking him, he knows they're a villain. He usually tries to out-banner them and try to get them into places where he can easily beat them up or take them down. He doesn't usually go out looking for fights or go around saying that someone is a no-name loser. Here we see Hard Rock saying, "I heard you were tough. I heard you were the best there is." Spider-Man responds by saying, "Actually, that's Wolverine." Well, Hard Rock knocks Spider-Man unconscious with a kick. He gets ready to shoot Spider-Man in the head and to make his money. That's when something very odd happens. Even though Hard Rock has won, the costume begins to behave oddly. As he's pointing the gun down, smiling, the costume suddenly comes alive. It starts crawling up his body. It starts crawling all over him. He says, "What the?" As it suddenly engulfs him. It suddenly goes into his mouth. He can't stop it. His strength is great enough to beat up Spider-Man, and he's invulnerable on the outside. But I guess the costume figures he might not be invulnerable on the inside. It slops down his throat. All Hard Rock can do is mumble out a glug as it goes down his throat, and the symbiote begins to expand inside of him. All Hard Rock can do is grasp his hands to his throat, and he starts becoming scared. The symbiote continues to expand inside of him, and then it kills him. Hard Rock is dead, and all Mysterio can do is escape from the Kingpin's lair before the Kingpin can show up and kill him. He's up on the roof when his friend who works for the Kingpin shows up. He tells his friend that he has a plan that will benefit both him and the Kingpin. His friend is interested. He says, "Tell me more." And this is how this comic ends. It's a good comic book. And I would like to see the third issue of Peter David's miniseries. If you like this review, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please just subscribe. I don't want you to miss any of my videos. So also hit that bell so you can get notifications, and hit that like button if you enjoy my work. And I want you to make comments down below. And remember, keep checking back for future videos for information on my own upcoming future comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another review.